Google. You will probably still end up typing something into Google after watching this video. But let me ask you a question. What do you really know about this search engine you use every single day? Most people think Google is just a simple website used for searching the internet. But this company has a history filled with such interesting events that when you hear some of them you'll think, how did I not know this before? For example, its first office wasn't a multi-million-dollar building either. It was a small garage. And some of the systems used today by billions of people were not even developed by Google itself. Now, let's take a look together at 10 surprising facts about Google that you've probably never heard before. Today, the moment we hear the word Google, we instantly think of the internet. But when the company was first created, it had a completely different name. In 1996, Stanford University PhD students Larry Page and Sergey Brin began developing a new search engine that could rank web pages more accurately. Its original name? Backrub. The name came from the system's ability to analyze backlinks, the links that websites receive from other websites. At the time, most search engines ranked pages mainly by looking at the keywords they contained. Larry Page's approach was different. His idea was simple. If a web page is linked to by many trustworthy websites, it must be more valuable and relevant. Even today, this concept remains one of the core principles behind how Google evaluates and ranks web pages. Before long, however, the founders realized that the name Backrub sounded a bit odd and wasn't particularly memorable. So, they started searching for a better name. When the company was searching for a name, the founders were inspired by a mathematical term for an unimaginably large number. That number is called a googol. It is written as the digit 1 followed by 100 zeros. The name perfectly reflected the virtually limitless amount of information available on the internet. But something unexpected happened when they went to register the domain name. Instead of Google, it was mistakenly written as Google. The founders liked the new spelling and decided to keep it. Today, the name of one of the world's most valuable brands is often cited as one of history's most famous spelling mistakes. Just imagine. If that tiny mistake had never happened, we might all be saying, look it up on Google, instead of, Google it. Sometimes, the smallest mistake can give birth to one of the most recognizable brands in the world. Today, Google has massive campuses around the world, thousands of employees, and billions of dollars worth of office infrastructure. But it all began in a small garage. In 1998, Larry Page and Sergey Brin did not have a large budget. Because of this, they rented the garage of a woman named Susan Wojcicki, who lived in California. The first meetings were held there. The first computers were set up there. The first employees were hired there. The garage was quite messy. It was filled with cables, old computer parts, and constantly running servers on the desks. No one could have predicted that this place would become the birthplace of one of the largest technology companies in the world within just a few years. What makes the story even more interesting is that Susan Wojcicki later joined Google herself and eventually became the CEO of YouTube. So what started as an ordinary garage rental turned into one of the most important success stories in technology history. And in fact, it shows us something important. The ideas that change the world don't need big offices. They need big visions. Today, Google operates millions of servers across data centers all over the world. But in the company's early days, things looked very different. Larry Page and Sergey Brin couldn't afford expensive enterprise servers. So they began building their own systems using whatever computer parts they had available. But the most fascinating part wasn't the computers themselves, it was the case they built for them. To organize the hard drives, they used Lego bricks. Yes, the same colorful Lego bricks children play with. The Lego structure allowed them to mount the drives neatly and made it easy to reconfigure or upgrade the system whenever needed. Today, that original Lego server is considered one of the most iconic artifacts in computing history, and a replica is on display in a museum. Sometimes, billion-dollar companies aren't built with expensive equipment, they're built with creativity, resourcefulness, and great ideas. Now, think about something for a moment. What was the very first thing you searched for on Google today? Was it the weather? A recipe? Or simply something you were curious about? You're not the only one. Every single day, billions of people around the world do exactly the same thing. Google handles billions of searches every day. What's even more remarkable is that a significant percentage of those searches have never been made before. In other words, people ask completely new questions every single day. Google's AI-powered search system works to understand these new queries and, in just a fraction of a second, identifies the most relevant answers from billions of web pages. The instant you press the Enter key, hundreds of different ranking signals are evaluated simultaneously. The credibility of a web page, the freshness of its content, the country you're searching from, the device you're using. Sometimes, even your previous searches can influence the results you see. All of this happens before you even have time to blink. You've probably seen the little black dinosaur that appears whenever your internet connection drops. Most people assume it's just a simple drawing, but it's actually one of the most played hidden games in the world. Google engineers created the game in 2014. The idea was simple. When people lost their internet connection, they would have something fun to do instead of staring at the screen. The moment you press the spacebar, the little T-Rex starts running. You jump over the cacti in its path. Before long, birds begin to appear. The game keeps getting faster, and before you know it, you've been playing for minutes. But why a dinosaur? Because Google engineers jokingly referred to being without the internet as going back to the Stone Age. The dinosaur was chosen to represent that idea. So whenever your internet connection goes down, the game playfully tells you, "Welcome back to the time before modern technology." Today, millions of people have played this tiny game, and many still use it to pass the time while waiting for their internet connection to return. If you take a close look at Google's homepage, you'll notice an interesting button beneath the search bar. I'm feeling lucky. Most people have never clicked it even once, so why is it still there? Its purpose is actually quite simple. Normally, when you search on Google, you're shown a page full of results. But if you click the I'm feeling lucky button, Google takes you directly to the top result. In other words, it skips the search results page entirely and sends you straight to the most relevant website. Back in the early days of the internet, this feature could save users a significant amount of time. Today, very few people actually use it. Yet Google has never removed the button. That's because it has become part of the company's history. It may be one of the least used buttons on the internet, yet also one of the longest lasting. And here's the interesting part. A company worth billions of dollars continues to keep a feature on its homepage that almost nobody uses, simply out of respect for its own history. Today, the vast majority of smartphones around the world run on Android. That's why many people assume Android has always belonged to Google. But the real story is very different. Android began as an independent company founded in 2003 by Andy Rubin and his team. Their goal was to create a more advanced, open operating system for mobile phones. Google recognized the project's potential long before most others did. In 2005, Google acquired Android and began investing heavily in its development. That decision is now widely regarded as one of the most successful acquisitions in the history of technology. Today, billions of devices run Android, from smartphones and tablets to smart TVs, smartwatches, and even some automobiles powered by Android-based systems. Had Google not acquired Android back then, the smartphones we use today might have looked and evolved very differently. Sometimes what drives a company's greatest success isn't building a product from scratch. It's recognizing the right idea at the right time. Today, when people think of YouTube, they immediately think of Google. But Google wasn't the company that created YouTube. YouTube was founded in 2005 by 3 former PayPal employees. At first, it was just a small website where people could upload videos. But the platform quickly began to grow at an incredible pace. Every day, thousands of new videos were uploaded, and millions of people spent hours watching content. Just 1 year later, in 2006, Google acquired YouTube for approximately $1.65 billion. At the time, many people thought the price was far too high, but over the years it became clear that it was one of the most successful acquisitions in the history of technology. Today, YouTube is the world's largest video platform. Every minute, hundreds of hours of new video are uploaded. Billions of people watch all kinds of content, from educational videos to entertainment. In fact, even the video you're watching right now may be on YouTube thanks to the decision Google made all those years ago. When you navigate down the street on Google Maps, it seems quite normal to see that every spot has been photographed. That's because most of us assume these images were taken solely by Google vehicles. In reality, the situation is much more interesting than that. Yes, most cities are mapped using special vehicles equipped with cameras. However, in places where cars can't go, Google uses different methods. On mountain trails, staff members hike while carrying massive cameras on their backs. In narrow streets, bicycles are used. In some deserts, images are captured using camels. On rivers, boats are used. In snow-covered regions, snowmobiles are used. In other words, behind the images you see on Google Maps are not just cars, but hundreds of different teams working all over the world. Thanks to this, people can explore places they've never been to, as if they were actually there. You can discover a village or a mountain peak, places you might never visit in your lifetime, in just a few seconds right from your phone. What surprised you the most about Google? Be sure to write it in the comments. If you want more videos like this that explore the hidden sides of technology, artificial intelligence, and the internet world, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.